Hello and welcome to Donkomet channel. Here we have 3 American-made gentleman's pocket folding knives. Let's start with my most recent acquisition, which came in the mail today. I got interested in what was going on current day at Bear & Sons Knives, and that happened, I think, largely through watching a CBRX video where he showed some of their current offerings. So I went and browsed the website, and when I saw this, I got very interested indeed. I thought, wow, this looks like a Frank Centofanti knife to me, to my perhaps ignorant and untrained amateur eye. That was what it struck me as. And I do actually I have the pleasure of owning an original Frank Centofanti. Perhaps Centofanti. I don't know. I'm going to say Centofanti. I'm more of a Spanish speaker than an Italian. I don't know what he would have said himself. I believe he's no longer with us. But we can examine this lovely knife alongside. And in considering these two, I was recalled to the point that Frank Centofanti is credited as having kind of revived to some degree the Wharncliffe, or being responsible for the realization through cutting tests with his knives that this case in point modified Wharncliffe is about as good as it gets when it comes to cutting. Tactical or in some senses perhaps otherwise. You know, it's a really keen cutter. So I like that. That interests me. And other things that interested me about this knife, the blade steel, 12C27N. It's not on there, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's a button auto. It has modification potential in that I want to remove the pocket clip. A very lightweight, slimline, made in America. It's not actually a new model. It's been around for a while. There are various reviews on YouTube, but I didn't see any user reviews. I saw kind of collector style reviews, but I'm interested in how this knife is going to sharpen up and perform and all that kind of stuff. Which I'm not so interested in with this knife, or this knife here. So right, I thought to pull this out because it's another American maker. I think of a kind of a generation, perhaps, with Frank Centofanti, but I could be mistaken. But I think there are even some stylistic similarities, perhaps, in the plunge grind sharpening choil here. And you know, that also could speak of an age, you know, that was more how they did things back when. I'm speculating. Because I think these knives are from the 1990s, I would say, or thereabouts. Again, I could be mistaken. We're talking ballpark. And so this is a 2000s design by a Jernigan. Perhaps he was inspired by the work of Frank Centofanti. Something I like about this knife is that it doesn't have a choil. And this is take 2 of this video, so I did already kind of have a bit of a gag here because I was like, okay, let's make the first cut with this knife. I pulled out this piece of cardboard. Okay, and that's how that cuts. And I take this one, or this one, Of course, I have discovered that there is a way to bypass that choil, right? You just put your finger there and then away you go. But interesting, this area here, you know, assessing this blade, I spotted that there's something going on here. And it almost looks to me like it might have been burned down there because there's some kind of discoloration. You see that? I don't know if that's burned or that's something else, but it's not tidy, this area here. However, I am sympathetic. I recently reground my cold steel holdout, which also has a very similar profile. It was a little kind of fatter and it had these serrations down here. And so I wanted to remove them and just kind of have this clean sweep. And that didn't work out. I ended up with this little kind of flat / recurve developing here. Difficult to avoid. And even if you do put the choil in, are you seeing what I'm seeing down here? It's that tiny hint of a recurve. And on this one here, rather more so. This could be deliberate, I can't say. But I would be able to say that the fact that there's this little added thickness there of the plunge is kind of riding into the choil there, as it were, or it's the, you see what I mean, right? So there's a little extra thickness there, and that will cause that to happen. Right? These knives came to me advertised as, on the secondary, but advertised as unused and unsharpened, I should say. I might have touched them very lightly with something, but even that is past my ken of memory, but unlikely. This one I am going to sharpen. Bevels are actually kind of way off, right? This one's nice and skinny. That one's nice and fat. Yeah, they burned that down there. That's a shame, huh? It'll sharpen out and it'll cut, but that's not so good. They're not having it back, though. See, nice and straight. I like that. That's a pretty good, and the grind is, the flatness, all of that. Man, where I'm looking at that, it shows up more through the camera, actually, than it does to the naked eye, interestingly. But that's a flaw that I can't do anything about right now. However, this pocket clip, is it a flaw? It's not for me. That's one thing. So I thought I would do that. I got some bits out. Yeah, I also thought we could take some quick measurements. Well, the three knives are pretty much the same. Kind of talking almost 4-inch handle and almost 3-inch blade. The weight, I think, should be interesting. And the balance point also could be interesting. But of course, we're going to take the clip off this one. It's a funny handle on this for me. The micarta is amazing. But not sway back. I like a sway back Wharncliffe, really. Could even contribute to the fact that I haven't used this knife that much because I don't know, I just like a sway back. Okay. Yeah. 2.125. It's a pretty featherweight little folder, for the size and the potential. Should be pretty robust. 12C27N in passing. I saw a video with Joe Flowers and Andrew Demko. And Demko made various... Joe Flowers' design, Demko made it in various... 2. So I call it 2.5, so not a lot over. Anecdote from me watching YouTube. Get with the program. Joe Flowers, Andrew Demko. Made for Joe Flowers. His design of knife in various steels. And then, without telling him which the steels were, which was in which steel, he gave him them to test. And which one did Joe Flowers pick? But the 12C27N. After blind testing, he said, this is the steel for me, this is the best steel, it's performed the best. Okay? So, although I'm very grateful to my friend, Mr. Gerst, at Gerst Blade Works, Patrick Gerst, for advising me when I showed him, we were conversing via text, and I sent him a picture of this knife or a link. I said, I'm really interested in this. He said, well, I don't know, buddy, for the spec, 12C27N blade, steel construction, it was, $3.5 or more $100 manufacturer's recommended retail. Well, that's, it was good that he pointed that out. I did manage to find it at about the third the price at Blade Ops. So yeah, $140 for this, I think is pretty reasonable. Even for me, even with this, because sooner than later that was going to go with me anyway, especially because of how I would tend to just grind that out just the same way they did. The same thing would tend to happen to me, right? So now I can just cut in here and we'll start again. Fresh steel, and do some testing and some use and carry and stuff. But first, the pocket clip. It must go. Why not do that, right? It's a little YouTube video. I'm not really competent with the mechanicking side of things, but I can probably handle removing a pocket clip. Oops. That was funny. Okay, let's do this like this. I think I got the right one. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe we gotta go one bigger. Yeah, and I can't tell you this is T what, by the way, either. You tell me. T something or other E. T this one. Tea, cup of tea, ginger tea. Come on. Oh, I didn't strip it. I like this. This is smart. This is this iFixit thing. You get it at the Home Depot. I'm not advertising. I'm sure there's a better thing out there, but for what I've seen around, fact is I actually bought another one the other day just to have a backup. Also, one time I lost one of these bits, and you can go on the website and order a replacement very easily. I found that satisfactory. I'm not trying to sell you the whole nother kit. They got some ideology. Cool, right, okay. That's fugly. So now we should probably take a piece of carbon fiber and encrust it there, because that's dreadful. Wow, that is like the gas station knife that ended up in a bucket somewhere with a $3 tag on it. Okay, I got some issues. With the knife. However, let's look. I'm just going to close my eyes for a second. Okay, my eyes are closed. Okay, I just opened them again just to check that I'm still on camera. They're closed again now. I'm just going to feel this. Feels very light. Feels very sleek. The carbon fiber is actually a little grippy. The opening feels snicker-snack. It doesn't, as other YouTubers have commented, it doesn't really jump in your hand. It's very light, so it's very light to this feeling of closing here is very light as well. Possibly quite easy to deploy in the pocket, methinks. possibly quite very easy to deploy in the pocket. Now, this, of course, could also be attenuated by making this button, by grinding it down. Pretty cool button, though, like that. That's another issue. A slip, right? Which is one way of saying the correct and righteous terminology: a girly man's knife purse. That's what this needs. This needs a girly man's knife purse. So now I'm going to have to, if I want to, do the carry test, yada, yada. Oh, you know what? Arrange a band, right? I guess, right? Little rubber band. Take it out. Whip your rubber band off. Pacha! You know what? I still like it. Let's whittle something. Let's do, this pencil's pretty sharp. No, that one's pretty sharp too. Maybe a chopstick. Ugh. I like the ergos though. I like this little choil. Good jimping right in the right places. I have to put my edge on this thing. Like a quick sharpen, just so I could tell you how the steel feels. On my favorite and beloved, well-worn Pocketknives 1000 grit here. Got a lot of. I'm starting to think, because I sharpened this knife at the New England School of Metalwork. I made this knife there, and I sharpened it there on the stones they have, which are these ancient DMT stones. I mean, must have had maybe thousands of sharpenings on them. And they start to get this look, this kind of crusty, worn out. This also has this gold, kind of like a gold plating or whatever. But those ones have a kind of a similar tint just because of all the rust that's driven into them. Anyway, they sharpen so well. All the diamonds are flat. Is that good or bad? I don't know. Also, Ted told me there that studies have now someone's been able to measure the temperature right at the edge when honing on diamonds or sharpening on diamonds. And he said that you can get an extremely high temperature right up at the edge. Whereas I'd always been told that diamonds don't generate any heat. But apparently, according to this study that was done, right at the very apex there, you could be generating some very high temperatures. And buggering your apex. So it's maybe something to consider. Trying to feel down here whether it feels gummy. I think it does. I think it feels a little gummier down there. You can feel the transition into the good steel. Well, blade like this, if you really love it and you use it up, within a few years you're ready for a reblade. And then you can do it again without that. Just in principle. Oh, you know what? I should be going in heavy on this side, right? Because of that. Going in heavier here. I seem to have misplaced my testing files. Otherwise, I would also be interested to give this a scratch. I've only been riding the shoulders. I haven't touched the apex yet. Forgive me. I'm gonna have to take another minute here. Yeah, way too steep and way too shouldery. Typical. I wouldn't have expected much more, you know, from a factory knife. Okay, now I'm on the apex. That feels pretty good. Steel feels nice. Seems to be responding well. Quick strop on a piece of cardboard. It is a stainless and what have you. Strop hone. Excuse me. My nose is running. It's cold. Oh, now you're talking. Now I got some control. Beg pardon. Yeah. I'm getting the tiniest bit of front to back. No side to side, really. Yeah, side to side, fine. Front to back, the tiniest little click there. But, I don't think it's perceptible when cutting. Oh, it is. I can feel it here. Just a little bit. But for an out the side automatic, I think that's pretty good, you know. Oh, you know what? Oh, I was wondering whether it's because I was resting on the button. No, there's a tiny bit of wiggle, but it's not too bad. You know, another thing is I've only really touched this, you know. Maybe tidied it up a little bit and took the shoulders down a bit. Taking the shoulders down just helps me to find where I'm going in the grain there. But the apex could probably do with a lot of refining. We're probably still in kind of compromised, burned factory edge steel there. Well, it's been a long one. Sorry. Shouldn't have gone on that long. Anyway. 3 American Gentleman's Folders. From Ray Cover, Senior, Frank Centofante, and Bear Ops. Thanks for watching.